Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that, slices open these huge works to pull out the insights you need.
To be really informed, yeah.
Exactly. And today we are plunging into something truly ambitious. It's Pierre Teilhard de Chardin's The Phenomenon of Man.
It's definitely more than just a book.
Oh, absolutely. It's this grand synthesis. And get this, it's written by a Jesuit priest who was also a distinguished paleontologist.
Quite the combination.
Right. Imagine trying to weave together science, spirit, the past, the future, all that diversity and unity into one single story. That's Chardin.
And what's really fascinating, I think, right from the get-go, is his mission.
Which was?
To look at everything through the lens of evolution. Subspecies evolutionis, as you put it.
Okay. Evolution as the key.
But not evolution as just some, static machine. For him, it was dynamic, a constant process of becoming. A genesis.
So less about what things are, more about how they're becoming.
Precisely. He wasn't aiming for a fixed metaphysical explanation. He wanted to find an experimental law, really, for how things appear over time.
An experimental law.
Yeah, focusing particularly on, and this is key, man as the key to the universe.
Okay, that's a big claim. So if we follow that, what are the main ideas here, the core concepts? And I guess the big question for you listening, why does this book, nearly 90 years old now, still matter? Is it practically relevant today?
That's the core of it, yeah.
All right, let's unpack this.
So to really get Chardin, you have to start with his basic premise about the universe.
Which isn't static.
Not at all. He sees it as this gigantic process. Cosmogenesis, he calls it. Continuous unfolding evolution.
So moving past just cosmology, the structure, to cosmogenesis, the becoming.
Exactly. The universe isn't just there. It's constantly transforming itself. It's becoming.
Okay, so if it's always becoming, what's driving that? Where does that energy, that direction come from? He had a pretty unique idea about that, didn't he?
He did. It's what he calls the within and the without of things.
The within and the without. Explain that.
His idea is that everything, literally everything, atoms, galaxies, you name it, has an internal aspect, a kind of psychic face.
Alongside the external measurable part we usually focus on.
Right. The without. Now, this within, this psychic face, might be super faint, almost non-existent in simple matter.
That it gets stronger.
It becomes more pronounced, more evident as things get more complex.
Ah, okay. And that connects to?
To his core idea, what I think is really revolutionary, the cosmic law of complexity consciousness.
Complexity consciousness, okay.
He basically says that complexity, how organized something is experimentally bound up with an increase in its interiorization, its psyche or consciousness.
So wait, consciousness isn't just something that pops up late in the game with brains.
That's the radical part. He's suggesting it's inherent in the universe itself. It scales with complexity.
The more complex, the more conscious.
Yes. And he saw this as an observable pattern, almost a scientific law, not just philosophy.
Wow. Okay, so if complexity and consciousness scale together, what's fueling this? What makes things get more complex?
Good question. He talks about two forms of energy working together.
All right.
First, there's tangential energy. That's the normal stuff science studies measurable. External actions. The without.
Like kinetic energy, chemical energy.
That's what I'm thinking.
Sort of, yeah.
The external mechanics. But then there's radial energy.
Radial, okay.
This is the internal psychic energy, the within. And this, he argues, is what's driving things towards greater complexity, greater centricity.
So radial energy is the engine of becoming.
In a way, yes. But it's crucial to see they aren't totally separate.
Ah. How do they relate?
He sees them as interconnected. Really, two aspects of a single energy operating in the world.
Okay.
Think of radial energy as the internal current guiding the external tangential energy towards more complex, more integrated forms. It's the deeper pull.
The hidden director, maybe?
Something like that. It's
Yeah.
pulling things forward from within.
Okay, so we have this evolving universe, this cosmogenesis, driven by complexity consciousness, fueled by radial energy. Where does life fit in?
That's the next giant leap. He calls it biogenesis, the emergence of life.
And this wasn't just another small step.
No, he calls it a critical point, a cellular revolution. It's like the universe shifted gears. Suddenly you have cells.
These self-contained units.
Exactly. And he sees the cell not just as a microorganism, but as a new type of material for a new stage of the universe.
A higher level of complexity.
And interiority, a higher rung on that ladder we talked about.
Right, the complexity consciousness ladder.
And once life gets going, It moves in these fundamental ways, these elemental movements.
Like what?
First, just sheer reproduction and multiplication. Life expands, fills space, almost limitless, it seems.
Geometric progression.
Then, renovation. Life doesn't just multiply, it diversifies. New forms, new variations, constantly trying things out.
Pluralization.
Right. And third, association. Living things start grouping together, forming hypercomplex units.
Like multicellular organisms. Or even societies.
Both. This association gives strength, resilience, but also increases that inner wealth, that potential for more complexity.
You can almost visualize this maybe with his idea of the tree of life.
Absolutely. He uses the term phyla quite effectively here.
Phyla, like the big branches in biology.
Exactly. He sees them as collective realities, these living bundles. They aren't just abstract categories. They're the major structural units charting evolution's course. Think mammals, insects, these big, enduring lineages.
Okay. And within this tree, life isn't just spreading out randomly.
No, that's where orthogenesis comes in.
Orthogenesis.
Yeah.
Sounds directional.
It is. He sees an inherent direction in evolution, an invincible ascent towards more complex, more improbable forms. It's not just fanning out, it's climbing upwards.
A preferred direction, almost.
You could say that. And the method for this climb is fascinating. He calls it groping.
Groping, like trial and error.
Yes, but more profound. He calls it directed chance. Evolution tries everything, everywhere, to find the path forward.
Pervading everything to try everything.
Sure.
Trying everything to find everything.
That's the quote. It's constant experimentation, a mix of randomness and underlying direction pushing life forward.
It sounds messy but effective, like cosmic R&D.
Huh, yeah, kind of. And all this ascent, this groping, eventually leads to the biggest leap.
Don't tell me. Thought.
Exactly. New Genesis, the birth of thought, and specifically hominization, the emergence of humans.
And the key moment here is
The threshold of reflection, that instant when consciousness becomes aware of itself.
to know that one knows.
That's it, the ability to turn consciousness inward.
And he insists this isn't just more intelligence, like a smarter ape.
Absolutely not. He stresses it's a change of nature, a change of state. Humans become quite other than animals, a fundamental shift.
A qualitative leap.
Yes. And what's incredible, he points out, is that morphologically looking at bones and stuff, the change was extremely slight.
Really? Subtle physical changes.
Very subtle skeletal changes, but internally. An incredible commotion among the spheres of life. A massive internal revolution.
Driven by.
The development and concentration of the nervous system, the growth of the brain. Yeah. The external change was minor compared to the internal transformation that unlocked reflection.
And the result of this internal revolution, this reflection, is
A noosphere.
Ah, the famous noosphere, the thinking layer.
Yeah, the thinking layer or membrane spreading over the biosphere, over the plants and animals. It's humanity's collective consciousness.
Wrapping around the planet.
He says with hominization, the earth gets a new skin, or even finds its soul.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
It marks a new age, he argues, as significant as the formation of the planet itself or the first appearance of life. A planetary transformation driven by thought.
Okay, so that's the past and present, but Chardin didn't stop there, did he? He looked forward.
Definitely. He analyzes the social phenomenon in human evolution.
How we organize ourselves.
And how we're being pushed together. He talks about forced coalescence, because the Earth is round and our population keeps growing.
We're running out of space, we're bumping into each other more.
Physically and psychically, yes. We're being pressed together, converging.
And this convergence is unique to humans.
He argues, yes. Biologically unique, other species diverge, split off, specialize.
Right. Different finches, different ants.
But the human verticil, our phylum, tends to stay entire. We have indefinite interfecundation.
Meaning all human groups can interbreed.
And remain a single, potentially intermixing species. We're forming a single, organized membrane across the globe.
And what holds us together like that, preventing divergence?
Reflection, that's the new binder, our shared consciousness communication culture. It pulls us together.
So reflection leads to convergence. And where's this convergence heading? Is there an endpoint?
For Chardin, yes. The ultimate destination, point omega.
Point omega. This is the culmination of everything?
It's the peak of his vision, yes. The final point of convergence for the entire cosmogenesis.
What is it exactly?
He describes it not as just an idea, but a distinct center radiating at the core of a system of centers.
A center of centers.
Yeah.
Okay. And it has specific properties.
Yes. Autonomy, it's self-sufficient. Actuality, it's not just potential. It's already somehow present, drawing things towards
It's
it.
already emerged.
Pulling evolution forward, you might say. Then, irreversibility, it won't fall apart. And transcendence, it beyond time and space as we know them.
Wow, okay. But here's the part I find mind-bending. What happens to us at Omega? Do we all merge into one blob?
No, that's the crucial insight. At Omega, union differentiates.
Union differentiates. How does that work?
It means the closer individual consciousnesses get to Omega, the more unique, the more distinct, the more personal they become.
So joining makes you more yourself, not less.
Exactly. You don't dissolve into anonymity. Convergence intensifies individuality.
So Omega is where the personalization of the all and personalizations of the elements reach their maximum simultaneously and without merging.
That's the essence of it. Maximum unity and maximum individuality together.
That's quite a resolution. What powers this final convergence? What energy gets us to Omega?
For Chardin, it's love as energy.
Love, like romantic love.
Much broader than that, not just sentiment. He sees it as a fundamental biological property, the affinity of being with being.
An attraction between conscious entities.
Yes, the driving force behind the psychic convergence of the universe upon itself. It's the energy that pulls consciousness towards greater union. He calls it the only complete and final way we can love.
The intrinsic attraction pulling everything towards that superpersonal union at Omega.
That's the idea.
Okay, this is huge. Cosmic evolution, consciousness, convergence, Omega. But here's where it really needs to land for people listening. How does this epic vision, nearly a century old, actually impact us? Practically. Today.
Right. The relevance question. Chardin tackles this head on. He talks about the malady of space-time.
That feeling of being lost, insignificant in the vast cosmos.
Exactly. That modern anxiety, feeling crushed by the sheer scale of it all. He argues that his vision, seeing the universe as a genesis, a directed process,
Overcomes that futility.
yes, because time and space become humanized. They have a direction, a purpose that includes us. We're not just specks. We're part of this grand unfolding story heading somewhere meaningful.
And knowing that gives us
What?
motivation.
It fuels our drive for unlimited survival, he thinks. It justifies our belief in progress, which is essential for us to keep inventing, building, striving.
He actually says without a fundamental taste for life, humanity would just give up.
Disintegrate from nausea or revolt. We need that sense of purpose, that faith in the journey to keep going, especially with the challenges we face.
Okay, so it provides a kind of existential fuel. How else does it guide us?
It changes how we see collective problems, things like egoism or racism.
Yeah.
He sees them as subtle deformations of a great truth. They're flawed attempts to find individuality by separating, by pushing others away.
Which ultimately fails.
Yes, because it diminishes us. True fulfillment, he argues, comes through convergence with all the rest, by moving towards the other. Our individual good is tied to the collective good.
That pushes against a lot of fragmentation we see today.
Definitely. And he even gets surprisingly concrete. He calls for a science of human
The
energetics.
signs of human energy, what does that involve?
Well, partly he talks about a nobly human form of eugenics, focusing on the care and improvement of the human body. We have to be careful with that term, obviously, given its later history.
Sure, context is crucial. He meant conscious self-improvement for humanity.
I think so. A conscious participation in our own evolution. But broader than that, it's about managing global resources, understanding technology's impact, the physiology of nations, moving towards a reasoned organization of the Earth.
So humanity consciously organizing itself globally for the next stage, taking the reins.
Taking the reins of its own collective evolution to help the noosphere flourish. It's quite forward-looking.
And he saw a link between this and science itself.
A surprising one.
Yeah.
He says neither in its impetus nor its achievements can science go to its limits without becoming tinged with mysticism and charged with faith.
Science needs faith. How so?
For Chardin, the very belief in progress, in unity, in that ultimate attractive center, Omega, it becomes a technical necessity for science to push forward meaningfully.
So pure logic isn't enough. Science needs a belief in the direction of the universe.
To reach its full potential, yes. It needs that deeper why, that faith in the value of the pursuit and the convergence it serves.
Okay, so we've really covered a lot, from that basic complexity consciousness law driving the universe,
Through biogenesis, the rise of life,
to new Genesis, the leap of reflection that made us human.
and finally, that pull towards convergence, towards point Omega.
It really is a sweeping vision of an unfolding universe where consciousness isn't some fluke, but the main event.
The very direction of reality. in his view. And maybe a final thought to leave you with, from Chardin himself.
Please.
The only universe capable of containing the human person is an irreversibly personalizing universe.
A personalizing universe, meaning one that inherently values and enhances individuality through union.
That's the logical endpoint, he felt, if you really follow the laws of evolution as they apply to us.
So, thinking about this deep dive, it isn't just intellectual history, is it? It's about trying to figure out the direction of our own human journey.
Finding meaning within that story.
Yeah, and it really invites you, listening, to consider your own place in this ongoing phenomenon of man. Where do you fit? And maybe, just maybe, where are we all